The week of 8th to 14th June, aviation history tells a story of progress, tragedy and change. Let's take a look. 1931. The 40-seat passenger Handley Page 42, a 4-engine biplane, enters service with British airline Imperial Airways, setting new standards of passenger service and comfort. 1945. First flight of the Avro Tudor, the first British pressurized civilian aircraft. 1948. Air India commences a regular Bombay to London service by Lockheed Constellation. 1978. Wardair becomes the first operator of the de Havilland -7. 1990. The Boeing 767 sets a non-stop commercial flight record, from Seattle to Nairobi. It was a Royal Brunei Airlines jet, taking over 17 hours on a delivery flight to the airline. 1994. First flight of the Boeing 777, the first computer-designed commercial aircraft. 2013. First flight of the Airbus 350 at Toulouse-Blagnac Airport in France. 1950. Air France Flight 633, a Douglas DC-4 on a flight from Saigon to Paris, crashes in the Arabian Sea while on approach to Bahrain, killing 46 of 52 on board. And, just 2 days later, the same flight en route experienced a similar crash, when an Air France Douglas DC-4 crashes in the Arabian Sea while also on approach to Bahrain Airport, killing 40 of the 53 on board. 1960. Trans-Australia Airlines Flight 538, a Fokker F-27 crashes into the ocean near Mackay, killing all 29 on board in Australia's worst civilian air disaster. This crash was responsible for the mandatory installation of cockpit voice recorders in airliners in Australia, followed by the rest of the world. 1961. KLM Flight 823, Lockheed 188 Electra, crashes while on approach in Cairo due to pilot error. 20 of the 36 on board die. 1964. United Airlines Flight 823, a Vickers Viscount 745 flight from Philadelphia to Huntsville with 39 people on board crashes 2 miles northeast of Parrotsville, Tennessee, after experiencing an uncontrollable fire on board, killing all 39 people. 1972. American Airlines Flight 96, a McDonnell Douglas DC-10, suffers an explosive decompression when one of its cargo doors fails in flight. The crew manages an emergency landing at Detroit. The cause is a design flaw in the cargo door locking mechanism. All 67 on board evacuate safely. And Japan Airlines Flight 471, a DC-8 from Bangkok to New Delhi, crashes near New Delhi Airport. 82 of the 87 occupants are killed, including 3 people on the ground. Brazilian actress Leila Diniz was also among the passengers killed. 1982. VASP Flight 168, a Boeing 727 crashes into a hillside in Brazil, killing all 137 on board. 1985. TWA Flight 847, a Boeing 727 from Athens to Rome is hijacked by Lebanese militants in a 17-day hostage ordeal. 1 passenger is murdered. U.S. Marine Robert Stetham was beaten and tortured. He was 23. Armed with grenades, the hijackers kick purser Uli Derrickson in the chest, demanding entry into the cockpit. Uli Derrickson and her crew are praised for their actions in saving lives. 1990. British Airways Flight 5390, a BAC 111, suffers an explosive decompression at 17,000 feet over Oxfordshire, England, when one of the front windscreen panes blows out. The captain is partially sucked out of the cockpit, but a flight attendant manages to keep his unconscious body from falling from the aircraft by holding onto his legs. The first officer lands the aircraft safely at Southampton Airport. All on board survive. 1995. Ansett New Zealand Flight 703 from Auckland to Palmerston, a de Havilland -8 crashes during landing near the Tararua Ranges. 4 of the 21 people on board are killed. 1996. Garuda Indonesia Flight 865, a McDonnell Douglas DC-10 aborts takeoff due to an engine failure and crashes into a threshold at Fukuoka Airport, killing 3 of the 275 on board. The cause was a turbine blade failing from metal fatigue, as it exceeded recommended cycles. 1997. Air Malta Flight 830, a Boeing 737 bound for Istanbul with 80 passengers and crew on board, is hijacked by 2 men and diverted to Cologne. The hijackers wanted the release of jailed Turkish gunman Mehmet Ali Agca. However, 3 hours after landing, the hijackers surrendered and left the aircraft. No passengers or crew were harmed. 2008. Sudan Airways Flight 109, an Airbus 310 crashes at Khartoum Airport and catches fire due to a runway overrun in rain with missing auto brakes and an inoperative engine reverser. 30 deaths are confirmed, 6 passengers are listed as missing. 2025. Air India Flight 171, a Boeing 787 Dreamliner crashes after takeoff from Ahmedabad Airport on a flight to London. It is the first hull loss of a Boeing 787 in the deadliest aviation accident of the 2020s. There is 1 sole survivor out of the 242 people on board. 19 are also killed on the ground. 1958. London Gatwick Airport opens after 2 years of extensive reconstruction. It is the first multimodal airport in the world, with direct rail connections from the main terminal to London and Brighton. 1980. The last produced Concorde, number 16, is delivered to British Airways. 1988. All Nippon Airways announces that painting eyeballs on the engine intakes cuts bird strikes by 20%. While successful in reducing bird strikes, the eyes were difficult to maintain and eventually replaced by standard white spirals.